Hello, and welcome to today's episode of From People Problems to Productivity. I'm Kirsten Ross Vogel, your team performance pro and family business coach. My favorite place to play. Thanks for joining me. Today, I'm talking about in conflict, find the common ground. So, I'm going to share some quick strategies that I use a lot with my clients when they're embroiled in some kind of conflict. And conflict might be too big of a word. We don't necessarily even have to call it conflict. It can just be disagreement, differences in perspective, all those kinds of things. So many things in life and in work can have us having a different viewpoint and opinions and all of that. And our opinions and viewpoints and perspectives can be different, but still valid, still valuable. And so, too often we focus on where we differ, which can stop us from getting into the most important part of usually the conversation, which is problem solving. Ultimately, most often when we're embroiled in something that feels really uncomfortable slash conflict, it's because there's a problem to be solved. And from our differing perspectives, we have ideas about how to fix, how to solve the problem at hand. So, sorry, I'm adjusting my microphone a little bit because this blue, there we go, had a little blue light on my screen. So, um, I want to give you a couple of quick mindset shifts that I end up using often with my clients to really help them shift where they're seeing the disagreements, the differences in perspectives, et cetera, to really engage in more constructive communication around the issue at hand. And I am calling it find that common ground because ultimately, in most instances, everyone has the same intentions. Everyone has the same outcomes that they're working towards, but they each see differences in the journey to get there. So if we both have the common ground of the same objectives, same intentions, good intentions, maybe we don't have to proceed into this conversation as if we're adversaries, as if we need to battle. And so the shift in mindset is again looking for that common ground and coming from that place. So let me use an example. A lot of times in family business, the next generation comes in to the business and they have a huge desire to make their impact, prove themselves. Often it's about that. They want to bring value right away. But then you have the now generation who has, maybe through their blood, sweat, and tears built this business and they want to feel appreciated and valued for everything that they've done to that point. And so, from those two perspectives, I'm the next generation coming in. I want to be respected. I want to prove myself. I want to prove that I can be valuable. I have really exciting new ideas. Maybe I've just been to school or I've worked somewhere else and I want to bring new I want to increase our capacity and improve productivity and again improve myself, prove that I belong here, prove that I have earned my role here. But in doing so they can come in with such gusto that they forget that the perspective of the now generation who is built and is bringing them in and isn't entitled to bring them in, they're forgetting to show that appreciation of all the work that the now generation has done, the blood, sweat, and tears, starting from scratch, maybe. And so if each of the generation just focuses on, I need to prove myself, I need to feel valued, there's a difference there. And that can create conflict if each person or each team is focusing on those main things without even realizing it often. But if we stop and think and look for the common ground is everyone's intentions are actually good. They are working towards building a profitable business. They want the business to win. And so there's common ground there. So I always recommend focus on that. realize you're not adversaries because you have different perspectives. You actually have good intentions for the business and want it to be as profitable and successful as possible. So, from that place, can you instead visualize, instead of adversaries battling it out for the journey, the path that we should take with the business from here going forward, from each of those differing perspectives, instead focus on together, let's decide what's best for the business because that's common ground. Let's visualize that we're sitting on the same table and we're going to problem solve together. Instead of one generation talking at the other generation and the other generation feeling defensive and frustrated and wanting to feel respected, one, start from a place of respect and appreciation for all that they've built and the opportunity to come into a business that's already there. You're not starting from scratch. So start there. And then you lock arms, visualizing the same side of the table to say, here's a challenge in front of us. Let's problem solve together. And what happens is, one, we come from a place of assuming that everyone's working towards the common goals. Two, we're not adversaries. We're working towards the same thing. And three, if one part of the equation, the next generation already sees a vision that the now generation hasn't yet seen, they haven't followed that journey, they don't have the information, instead of just spewing information and saying, here's the conclusion, here's what we need to do, by locking arms and problem solving together, you bring each other along the journey and share your perspectives towards that common goal. This actually works in all kinds of scenarios. And the quick fix is common goals, stop being adversaries, stop feeling like I have to 100% be heard. My perspective, my vision, my conclusions are right immediately, and I'm just going to communicate my conclusions. Instead, we're going to lock arms. We're going to identify the challenge in front of us, and then we're going to hear one another, identify that we're working towards common goals, appreciate what each person brings to the table in terms of their knowledge, skills, abilities, perspectives, and walk together towards creating a good outcome, a good solution for a common problem that, if implemented, will help you achieve the common goal. I literally was talking to a client last week who was struggling with another department. I'm going to speak super generically. This happens a lot. This kind of friction happens a lot between sales and marketing. Marketing sometimes asks for annoying reporting and information and sometimes dictates things. And so sales, what does sales want to do? Well, they just want to go sell. They don't want to fill out reports. They don't want to throw information into a black hole and feel like nothing happens with it anyway. Why are you wasting my time? I need to go out and sell. I need to be talking to potential clients or current customers and building this business. But if sales and marketing can, instead of focusing on that conflict where they don't see eye to eye, you're taking away my time from selling. Whereas marketing is actually like, I'm trying to get you more opportunities to sell. But in the doing, it creates that friction. So instead, visualizing, how can we instead lock arms and look for the common ground? What's the common ground? Marketing and sales both want to build a thriving business. They have common goals. They have a different perspective on what's most important to make that happen. But really, if you have great teamwork between marketing and sales, the business will thrive and both of you will achieve those common goals of a bigger business. The beginning step is to visualize, instead of fighting and having friction between sales and marketing, to decide we have a common goal. We are not adversaries. We're going to sit on the same side of the table. We're going to lock arms. It's really, I know it sounds so weird to visualize this, but it makes such a difference. It really does. it shifts your mindset, which shifts your nonverbals. And so picture locking arms with them. When we're locked arms with someone and problem solving together, because ultimately common goal is you need more customers. And so if they're going to identify new markets, new customers to feed to sales, they need some information to do that. So if you can try to hear the other's perspectives, lock arms to move towards that common goal instead of fighting about how you want to spend your time, communicate and create solutions together. So once you communicate, like, so for instance, sales, instead of hating the fact that they're asking for information, if you're sitting on the same side of the table, now you have problems that you can work to solve. Is there a way that we can find ways for us to feed you this information more quickly? Now you can solve problems. If we're just complaining, whining to others and not even having the conversation with the person who might help you solve the problem, we're not fixing anything. It's just a waste of time. And it just ignites all the yucky feelings. You feel a victim and all that kind of stuff. So instead, again, remember, lock arms, look for the common ground, and remember, neither side is trying to make the other's life more difficult. They're just working towards the same goals, but with a different path. Acknowledge it, realize it, shift the mindset. I'm locking arms with that person. What can I do to help them be more successful so they can help me be more successful so the business can achieve higher goals? What can we do to work together? And where there are pain points, where there are frustrations, by locking arms instead of fighting with one another, being in conflict with one another, you're engaging in the conversation that can move you forward to come up with solutions that help you create processes that are less painful and still achieve that common ground. All right, so those are a couple of instances. You can apply this anywhere. I know it seems super simple, but truly, when it boils down to it, a lot of what I coach is really quite simple. Um, but so I hope this helps you. If it does, if it gives you any food for thought, drop me a line, throw something in the comments, message me, um, hop on a call with me. You can do that very easily by going to myimpactacademy.com/book call. You can grab 30 minutes on my calendar. If you have some kind of challenges going on, some conflict happening in the team, high friction, let's get in there and find some strategies that can eliminate it or at least decrease it. Seriously, so often you're way closer to fixing the friction than you realize. And so let's help you move from people problems to productivity with some simple strategies. So thank you so much for joining today. If you watched live or on the replay, let me know. Shoot me a comment. Really appreciate it. Share this with others if you found value. And if you implement anything that you heard here, absolutely. Just give me an update. Let me know. I love celebrating your successes. All right, get out there, make it a great day. Thanks for joining. And again, reach out. I'm here to help you build your high performing team. Thanks.